This week we're talking about using the DNA that you have been given. Larry, we talked yesterday about how the DNA that God wrote for your life affects your future, and that we actually have to allow ourselves to line up with it.
You bet. Absolutely.
Give me some more help. Unpack this a little bit further for me.
Well, you know what? You've had the opportunity to read the book, and for that I'm really
yeah.
grateful. And, I open up with the book with what's called the decision, and making a decision.
This book, The No Rewind.
Yeah,
that
no
you wrote.
rewind.
Yeah.
You bet. And at the end of the day, there's a woman who I refer to as named Wendy. I was a clinical psychologist at the time, and I was seeing people in counseling. And this woman's story is horrible, but it ends with a good ending. But I'm going to share you her story.
Yeah.
So she comes, I'm a 23, 24-year-old intern, and I'm seeing all these clients or patients, if you will, for different reasons, every reason under the sun. And she comes into me and she's meeting with me, and every single session she tells me that she's got these anger issues, and I try to go through these anger issues. She's a young gal, 21 years old. She's a manager at a retail shopping center. She's supposedly got the perfect boyfriend. And so through the course of the sessions, I bring the boyfriend in. And as soon as they say they have a perfect boyfriend, I'm like, yeah, right, no one's got the perfect boyfriend. But honestly, getting him in there, he was actually very supportive of all the things that she had said. So after about 3 months, I tell her, I said, listen, I hate to do this to you. I love you. I think you're awesome. We have a great rapport. But at the end of the day, you're just kind of wasting time. And you're just giving me all this money, and I love meeting with you. You're one of my favorite clients, but we're not getting anywhere. And I really want to impact lives. And so she starts crying. She starts crying and heaving, and she puts her hands in her face, and her chest is going up and down, up and down. And I remember her looking up to the ceiling and like blinking her eyes like this as the tears are coming down, because she couldn't even look me in the face. And she said, now 21 years old, living on her own, she says, my father's raping me. And it had been going on since she was, I think, 10, 11, 12. And I just remember being destroyed on the inside, thinking to myself, how could this be going on? I had feelings of disgust. I think maybe I don't know if I had disgust for her, that she was allowing this going on. I know I had disgust for the father. I knew that I wasn't equipped for this. This is kind of one of the funny things that later on you realize God put the right person in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And so she literally spent the better part of 5 or 10 minutes. It's the first time in her life she's ever said this, but crying, stopping, crying, stopping, crying, stopping. And at the end of the day, I remember saying, well, how's this still going on now that you're 21 years old and you moved out intentionally to be away from him? And she said that she did move out intentionally to stay away from him. And she found an apartment, and she didn't tell her parents where they were. And she had the blinds pulled all the time. And she remembered one time, 3 months into it, that all of a sudden she hears,
oh no.
and she just froze. And she said, I just dropped to my knees by the kitchen, and as slowly as I could, without any kind of noise, I crawled in my bedroom and crawled into the closet and shut the closet door. And the finally became a boom, boom, boom.
Oh no.
And the father would say, Wendy, I know you're in there. Wendy, I know you're in there. Wendy, I know you're in there. And finally, I found out why she'd been allowing this to go on. The father finally says, Wendy, if you don't let me in, I'm going to go get it from one of your sisters. And she said that when she was in there, she wished that she could physically reach through her chest, open it up, and pull her heart out, because she could feel like the heartbeat was broadcasting to him that she was there, and she knew it was the vibrations. And it was the terror that she had. Well, she had said when her father was raping her, her mind would be elsewhere, and she's like, this is not me. And this is where it comes back to the DNA. She's like, this isn't me. I don't want this. I hate it. I don't know what to do. And you think about it, and the thing that disgusted me was like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? But I think that the difference I was raised with great parents. You were probably, I know you were raised with great parents.
Right.
She was raised with horrible parents, and her mom was complicit for other stories I could tell later on.
My.
But at the end of the day, she didn't know any better. And so that she was coping the best that she could. Well, long story short, the father, after our session, within the 24-hour period, he would never impact her negatively again, and or the sisters either, for that matter.
She took care of it.
We took care of it. And but I will tell you this: she had told me that she just knew, and this comes to God, she knew that there was something better. She knew there was something greater. And I think about her. I think about the fact that she could have been, for lack of better words, I'm talking vernacular, she could have been a whore, a prostitute.
Yeah.
She could have been a drug addict. She
Right.
could have been an alcoholic. She could have committed suicide.
Right.
And all those, from society's purpose, would have been very justifiable
Sure.
because of the things that she's experienced. But in truth, God's DNA, she saw it. She knew there was a vision. That chapter is called Vision. There's a vision for something better. The thing that got her out was because she had the vision. What I think the sin is in today are the people who think that it's okay to be here and they live for the weekend, and they don't have the vision that lines up for the thing that God's called them to.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank God you were there. And thank God that broke open. But that's not really the key of what we're talking about.
No.
The key of what we're talking about is don't let that stop you for the rest of your life. Don't let that stop you from becoming you.
So translating it, I think the coolest thing on this is I don't know how many people that are listeners here and viewers of your show that have had something that bad happen to them over that
Probably
chronic of
a
a
lot.
time. And so since most people haven't experienced that bad,
Yeah.
if she can get out, how much better everybody else.
Yes.
What a calling.
And hold that book up again.
You bet.
I read this book, No Rewind. I was really blessed. I was blessed you let me write a little
You got to do one of the
thing on-
reviews for me. Thank you.
thing on the front. Yeah, that was awesome. But there's a lot of power in this. And the cool thing about the name No Rewind, you don't get to back up on your life and say, I'm going to do this again. No, you get one shot at this life, so let's do it right.
You bet.
This time. And the time for you to make a right decision about your life is today.
Absolutely.
It's not tomorrow. It's not the next day. It's time today to make a decision about your life.
You bet.
Amen?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is good. So listen, friends, I hope you like what we're doing here. And I know that I am called by God to do this. I'm called by God to sit and talk with you, Larry. And but I believe that there are people out here that are called to be in this with me.
I believe that too.
And the way that they can do it is just simply partner with me.
Sure.
Because it costs money to do all this.
It does.
Okay? But God has been providing, and He will provide. But I believe that there's a place for you people, for each of you. There's a place for you in this show and this ministry, what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
We just set up a $10 a month thing, with an automatic payment. You can put any amount in there that you want to support us in. You can do a one-time gift, or you could do a monthly thing, however you want to do it. But I'm asking you, just like this girl had to take her position, so she forced herself back into what God wanted her to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking people here, hey, take the position that God created for you in helping this show
You bet.
and this whole ministry happen.
That's great.
Would you do that? I believe you will. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless.